Hello, I'm here to serenade you or something, but I mean it's not gonna be with a song, it's gonna be with my story about how I went to Niagara Falls one time because yeah, I've definitely been to Niagara Falls. So anyways, there I am at Niagara Falls. You know, my friends they've been telling me, dude, you gotta go see this. It's like a bunch of water falling off of this cliff. It's epic. We love it. And boy, were they ever right. As I stood there looking at this waterfall, this water falling off this cliff, I was mesmerized, you know? So, anyways, there I was, standing at the railway, looking out at the water falling off this cliff. And to my right, there was this Mexican family, it's this small Mexican family, generic looking. And to my left, there's this guy with this expression on his face. He's looking at the water like it's the most disgusting thing he's ever seen. Then all of a sudden the guy he just like stiffens out at such a speed that it sends him a few inches off the ground and he face plants onto the ground, and I scoff at the guy, and I go back to looking at the water. But then, a few minutes later, these people came rushing to their side, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, he's having a stroke!" And I mean, sucks to be them, right? So, anyways, I ignore that impediment, and I go on with my day. I'm looking out at the water. But then this guy, I notice him. He's behind me and well, he's behind everyone, and I look back and he's stroking his chin like he's some sort of e-boy, either that or he's looking for something. And so I ask him, "Hey man, what's going on? Do you need any help? I'm new to the area myself, but I mean, maybe I can help you or something. I mean, you ever seen one of those movies where the people help each other and they become best friends or something? I don't know." And so he looks back at me and he says, "Oh, no, thank you. I don't need any help. I'm just looking for someone who would be fit to help us test out our new AI program to help people stay safe around these parts. But thank you for asking." And I'm like, "Oh, alright, he's a nice guy." So I leave him alone and he walks to my right and he sees the Mexican family that was standing next to me, and he goes over, he grabs like this 10-year-old boy out of the family. Like he puts his right hand on the kid's right leg and his left hand on his right arm, and he just tosses the kid into water. And the way he throws the kid, I mean, it's just like, it's very mesmerizing. I mean, like the swaying motion he enacted, it was very cool. And so I'm standing there, this kid just fell into the water, or I guess he didn't really fall into the water, but I'm standing there, and these sirens, they just start sounding. It sounds like a nuclear power plant is having a meltdown nearby, and I watch as like 10 to 15 robots all like slide out of these bushes that have been placed around different like little islands in the water or something. So these robots, they slide out of the bushes, and their eyes, they just glow red. That like they're just like, and then I watched as these 15 robots all started clamoring over each other to try and get their cold, lifeless metallic hands on this 10-year-old Mexican boy, so that they can try and save him from drowning. you know? Which, I mean, the kid was standing in knee-deep water, by the way. He didn't need to be saved from drowning. So the kid, he turns around to see a bunch of robots traveling at like 80 miles per hour to try and get their hands on him. And he just starts screaming for some reason. I don't know why he's freaking out about it, but as he's a little baby about it. So this kid, he tries to run away. He like tries wading through the water, and he like falls over a couple of times and stuff. And finally, one of the robots catches up to him, and they like grab him in their arms, and it made like a very loud sound when he grabbed them. Anyways, the robot brings him ashore. He like slams him down on the ground, and he opens up his chest and takes out like an oxygen canister. that was like bigger than the 10-year-old Mexican child itself. I should probably preface here that it was the robot opening his chest. The robot wasn't opening the 10-year-old boy's chest and taking out an oxygen canister. But anyways, so this robot, he starts administering CPR onto this conscious child to try and resuscitate him. And let me tell you, there's nothing more inspiring than seeing like a 7-foot tall robot trying to empty an entire oxygen canister into the mouth of like a 10-year-old Mexican child. So his family's like standing next to him watching in horror as this robot does this. Sorry, I just stretched it. It's pretty cool. So the family, they're like sitting there, they're watching. You know, the mom's screaming. She's like, "Oh, please get off of my son!" And so the dad then he goes over to the robot and he tries to pry the robot off of his son, but then like the robot just tosses him back. He tosses him away like 50 miles back, like he's some crumpled up napkin at a kid's birthday party instead of like this big, brolic Mexican dad with a chevron mustache. Anyways, unfortunately, the kid survived, but that doesn't matter. So, that concludes my story about how I went to Niagara Falls. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Uh, what was this TED Talk about? Well, you may have thought that I didn't have a topic to present, but I do, in fact, have a topic to present. So, the topic here is that if you want to be able to pry some robot off of your son, like, this, you gotta work out, you gotta get bigger than a big, brolic Mexican dad. You gotta, like, work out and stop lounging around getting fat to the point where you have to, like, apply sunscreen using a paint roller. This was a pretty cool Minecraft video if you ask me, Buster.